Welcome back. It is Tuesday, March 12th in the NBA. My four favorite picks are on the way. What's going on, everyone? It's Logan from Calling Our Shot. Yes, I mentioned four favorite picks of the day. We have Austin's player prop of the day that I will give out, but I went kind of crazy and I have 3-game picks of my own. Hopefully we can make some money today and kind of get back on track. We've had a couple back-to-back losing days, an annoying 1-2 day yesterday. My Mavs minus 4.5, that was free as air. You love to see a no sweat bet like that. And then Austin's player props, unfortunately, did not come through. Wembanyama finished with 3 assists on the dot. I watched that game. I watched the whole fourth quarter. The dude wasn't even looking to pass. He was just in pull-up, terrible ball movement kind of mode. And then also Anthony Simons did not come through. He shot terribly. You're not going to win bets like that. But we still are on the season. I want to remind everyone, sky's not falling, plus 40.49 units. Obviously, I want to make that 50 units soon. So we got to get on a little mini roll. And that starts today. Where are we going? With Austin's favorite player prop of the day. We're going to the self-proclaimed Jalen Brunson whisperer. He calls himself that, not me. But we're taking the over 27.5 points, minus 111 odds on FanDuel. Currently your best value there. Now, he does want to mention, again, these are his notes. I'm spitting out what the Jalen Brunson whisperer tells me. He would play this one up to 28.5. So if you're asking there, would you play the bump? Yes. And he also does like his over 34.5 points plus assists. But we're just riding with the points in this one. Again, don't ask for assists, because then when you ask for assists, you get what you got last night. You need your teammates to make some shots. But this is one of Austin's favorite systems, backing Brunson after a bad game. Last game versus the Sixers, 19 points, 6 for 22 shooting. Ouch, 27%, 1 for 9 from 3. He even missed 2 of his 8 free throws in 32 minutes. That's just not going to get the job done. Austin talks about this time and time again. Brunson rarely has back-to-back bad games. He typically bounces back in a big way. Last game, 30 combined field goal attempts and free throw attempts should be enough volume to comfortably back him in this spot. Brunson has averaged 30.3 points per game in his last 14 games. He's over in 8 of 14 games with 3 misses with 27 points on the dot. You're welcome to go ahead and buy the 26.5 line, but we do really like Brunson to deliver at least probably maybe even go for 30 tonight. During this stretch without Randall, he's only shot less than 40% 3 times, with the third coming in his last game. In the previous 2 instances, he's bounced back to score 33 and 34 points in the next game. The Knicks have monitored Brunson's minutes a tad since his return back from injury, but being that this is his 3rd game back, we should see him off the leash a little bit more. And we're willing to bet Brunson because he has been great season long to us. Again, Austin calls himself the Brunson whisperer for a reason. So hopefully he has a pretty good pulse on this bet. He hasn't shot well versus the Sixers in his last 2 outings, which only furthers reasoning that some positive regression should be coming his way. Let's hope that happens tonight, because in the last time these two teams played, you got a 79-73 final score. Soared under. It was a historic under. Kind of crazy to see neither team crack 80 in that one. I kind of wanted to come on here and pick a contrarian play and just pick the over in this game just for funsies. Austin liked Jalen Brunson's points a lot more, and I was like, okay. I mean, there's a good chance that this game doesn't go over if Brunson doesn't give him a lot. So we do really like Jalen Brunson over 27.5 as Austin's best player prop of the day. With the player props done, it's time to get into my specialty, which is game picks. I'm going to the Pacers plus 7.5, minus 115 odds on BetMGM, your best value there. Now, we would play this line to 6.5 as well. I saw 7 on some books, but looking at the total of 241 in this game, the books are expecting a very high-scoring game between these two teams. Now, kind of similar to how I analyzed that Mavericks game last night, I saw where the total was set, and I said, who's going to do the bulk of that damage? I think it could be the Indiana offense for sure. They have the offense to keep up with OKC and cover the 7.5 line. They just went into Orlando, played a very elite defense in Orlando, and won that game. So who's to say they can't do it versus OKC today? OKC defense gives up plenty of threes as well, both 3-point made and 3-point attempted. They're back of the pack in those categories. The Pacers team is 8th in 3-point percentage, 9th in threes made, top 10 offense from behind the arc. Obviously, you got Halliburton assisting and giving his teammates some open looks. This Pacers offense will give OKC looks they haven't seen in several games. What do I mean by that? Look at their last 4 opponents for Oklahoma City. You played the Lakers, you played the Blazers, the Heat, and the Grizzlies. I would say those are all 4 pretty bad to mediocre offenses. This Pacers team is a really great, solid offense. And with Jalen Williams being a game-time decision, that would be a big defensive loss for Oklahoma City in this one. Whether he plays or not, I'm not really sure. I just know that it would be a loss. And this Pacers defense, not their calling card, but they played well against Orlando and Minnesota, giving them a chance to win both games, obviously winning in Orlando and breaking our hearts against Minnesota. We had Indiana in that one. I felt like they had a chance all game long just because their defense kept them in that. Fortunately, they could not get it done. Last point of note, Thunder are 25th in opponents rebounding per game. Rebounding edge should go to Indy in this one, and hopefully the shooting is there tonight to cover that 7.5. I just think 7.5, too many points. Hopefully they are able to cover that for us. You even have backdoor potential at a 7.5 line. So I do really like the Pacers getting all of these points as our first game pick. Now let's go to our second game pick. It's a team total. I'm taking the San Antonio Spurs team total under 109.5. Minus 120 odds on DraftKings, your best value there. Also, I would play this one down to 108.5 if the line does go down there. And if you're looking for this line on FanDuel, like early in the morning, just know FanDuel is a terrible book for team totals. They release them way later than the other books. Don't know why. They just do that. So if you're ever like, Logan, I can't find this on FanDuel, just go ahead and wait. It will come. I was considering the full game under 222.5, but the Spurs play 0 defense on 0 rest. I had to go back and look at the game logs, and I just seen a ton of like 120s, 130s, and I'm like, don't really love that. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and target the Spurs team total under, because I think this Rockets defense very elite and a bad spot for the Spurs. When the Rockets team has at least 1 day of rest, the opponent has went under this team total in 4 straight games. Obviously, we've got the advantage, the rest advantage for this Rockets team because the Spurs are on the back end of a back-to-back, and I hated what I saw from them late night against the Warriors. Their offense had no rhythm down the stretch. It was just Wemby going ISO with no ball movement, and it just stuck out to me. I was like, this is just not the type of offense I would ever want to back. Wemby obviously had no chance at his assists when his teammates are just like not getting open. The spacing was terrible. Is this something that I think can change against a great defense today? I doubt it. I'm going to go ahead and bet against it, actually. Houston's defense should be able to force turnovers against the Spurs offense that has 24th in turnover percentage in their last 10 games. This Spurs offense doesn't take care of the ball. It's going to give Houston some great looks. And the Rockets are great in transition, allowing the fewest points per game in the fast break. A bad shooting team like the Spurs probably will rely on some transition buckets, and the Rockets have been really good at not giving that up. A great rebounding team, also like Houston, 4th in rebounding, should be able to limit some second chances for San Antonio. Obviously, with Şengün out of this game, does that impact the rebounding a little bit? Sure, but I just think it makes them a little bit stronger defense because I'm not lying when I think I say Şengün is not an elite big man defender. Call me crazy. He's not a Dikembe Mutombo, but on the season, Houston 7th in overall defensive rating. Hopefully they come out and play like it today because this is an elite Houston defense with the rest advantage. I think they'll be ready to go. Maybe tired legs, some missed shots down the stretch for San Antonio. All these signs are telling me the Spurs are going under their team total. Hopefully that does come through for us. But let's go. Without further ado, let's go into our last game pick. Kings plus 2.5, minus 105 odds on BetMGM, your best value there. The Kings are in a solid underdog spot to bet, especially in this spot against the Bucks. You guys know I love underdogs. I hate chalky favorites. That's why the Mavs pick yesterday kind of went against what I believed in, but luckily it did cash. And their last 5 games as underdogs, the Kings have covered in 4 of those 5 games. It's kind of where I don't want to lay points with this Kings team, but I do want to take points with them, and that's what we're getting in this spot. And this is also a terrible spot for the Milwaukee Bucks, as this is their final game and their 4-game and 7-day West Coast road trip. Again, how motivated are they going to be? I've seen it plenty of times. Teams just lack the motivation, end of a road trip, and sometimes they get blown out. Could we see Kings as 2.5-point underdogs do some blowing out of the Bucks? Sure, I'm all down for that today. As only +3 against the Lakers, the Kings ended up winning that game outright. Comparison to what the Bucks did against the Lakers, this Bucks team just lost to the Lakers without LeBron. And so just comparing apples to apples right there. I'm just saying, not a great look for the Bucks. Over the last 3 games, Milwaukee is allowing close to 122 points to their opponent. This Kings offense could seize that opportunity. At home, the Kings are 10th in field goal percentage and 10th in three-point percentage. Hopefully they're going to get some open looks today from this Bucks defense that just hasn't been the same. Post All-Star break, they came out elite defensive unit, but it has slipped up recently, and we have to attack that. The Kings should be able to score from behind the arc against the Bucks team that just allowed the Warriors and the Lakers to shoot 49% and 47% from three. I'm kind of throwing out the Clippers game in that one because you guys remember I picked Clippers and I was like, oh, there should be some great looks for them. And then they ruled out Kawhi and PG and just made me rip my hair out and saying, but still, even some of their role players, the Clippers role players, still got a lot of good looks in that game. They made that game closer than it needed to be. I think this Kings team is in prime position today, and the Kings defense is great in transition, at second in opponents' fast break points per game. Can you stop Giannis from barreling downhill? Can you stop Dame from the pull-up three? If so, I think we have a really good chance in this one. Sacramento can limit the Bucks three-point shooters. They might just win this game outright. Kind of crazy. I do think it's worth a money line sprinkle in this one. Some late night action. West Coast going to make me have to stay up way too late to watch this game. But I really do like the Kings plus 2.5 as our final pick. Let's do a quick little mini recap because we did have 4 picks. We had Jalen Brunson's over in points, Pacers plus 7.5, with the Spurs team total under 109.5, and then the Kings plus 2.5 that I just mentioned. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Austin should be back in a couple of days. He is, again, traveling. But this has been Logan, and I will catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully with a 4-0 broom. That would be amazing. Catch you guys then.